another picture.
She just sent you the Johnny Mandel quote that I really, really love.
Oh, good. Okay. One day we walked along the sand, one day in early spring. You held a piper in your hand to mend its broken wing. Now I remember many a day, many a lonely mile, the echo of a piper's song, the shadow of a smile. The shadow of your smile. When you are gone, will color all my dreams and like the dawn, look into my eyes, my love, and see all the lovely things you are to me. Our wistful little star was far too high. A teardrop kissed your lips, and so did I. Now when I remember spring, all the joys that love can bring, I will be remembering the shadow of your smile. Shadow of your smile when you are gone will color all my dreams and life dawn. Look into my eyes, my love, and see all the lovely things you are to me. Our wistful little star was far too high. A teardrop kissed your lips, and so did I. Now when I remember spring, all the joys that love can bring, I will be remembering the shadow of your smile. Now when I remember spring, all the joys that love can bring, I will be remembering the shadow of your smile.
That is really beautiful. And that's tribute to Johnny Mandel, who just passed away on Pinky's records. Pinky sings Johnny Mandel with Levy. Levy.
Levy.
Lou
He's a
Levy.
Levy.
Oh, God. There's too many people with that name. Lou Levy, but there was not too many people who were Lou Levy. Who is the bass player?
Bill Takacs. He played with Bob Duro a lot.
No, I don't think I knew him. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today, Pinky Winters. As you can hear, an exquisite singer. And yeah, really happy to have you on, Pinky.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Yeah.
Could I read to you what Johnny says about this CD that we put out of his stuff?
Sure.
Did I send it to you? Wait a minute.
You said Jennifer sent me that, right?
Yeah. You are going to love this CD. It starts out.
Okay. I'm trying to copy it on into. Can you?
I can read it.
Yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
Okay. It says, "You are going to love this CD. It is a concert of Pinky Winters and Lou Levy at their absolute best. My songs tend to vary greatly from one another. Many moods, tempos, and emotions. Pinky and Lou do them all superbly. Thank you, Johnny. I'm proud to say that many fine singers have recorded my songs, but none of them made me as happy as what you're about to hear on this record, Johnny Mandel."
Nice.
He he sent it. I had a fax machine, and I had asked him if he would give a comment for the release of the record. And so he sent me a fax of it, and uh, I got it, and he called me back and he said, "Did you get it?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Do you want me to sign it?" I said, "Okay." So he signed it, and that's what appears on this on the CD, which I thought was a very generous and wonderful um, uh, comment from him.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm just showing the screen because I wanted to show the songs that you
Oh, uh-huh.
started, The Shadow of Your Smile, The Shining Sea, Close Enough for Love, Theme for MASH, You Are There, El Cajon, Emily, Cinnamon and Cloves, A Time for Love, oh, gorgeous. I Never Told You, Unless It's You, Don't Look Back, Take Me Home, and First.
Yeah, Take Me Home and First are demos that I made for Johnny.
Ah,
And I think Take Me Home is a really beautiful one with lyrics by Alan and Marilyn Bergman, really wonderful. And First, I can't remember all about that, but it's a jazz waltz. It's really nice.
yeah, you probably are killing on this record, this whole record, right? Wow.
Well, it was a concert at the Corcoran Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
and it was recorded by NPR. So the quality of the music is excellent because they're number one in recording wonderfulness.
how did you feel? How have you felt over your career of the comparison of recording in the studio and performing live? Do you?
Well, you have a little bit more control when you're in the studio, of course. If you think you want to redo something, you can, but if you're live, that's it.
Yeah.
There you are,
Were you?
warts and all.
Have you been comfortable in the studio?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just curious because I
Sometimes I've had a glitch.
yeah,
Uh, I remember when we were doing Happy Madness, we did it at Herb Alpert's place. What's
yeah.
the name of it?
Um,
Anyway,
vibrato.
pardon?
Vibrato.
Right, right. Um, we um, we were having problems with the mix and finally got it to work for us. But when you're live, you're there, there you are. Help. But this was okay. We were all in the groove and having a wonderful time, and we were happy. It was a great event.
Yeah. Speak a little bit about Lou Levy because he passed so long ago, and I think that he kind of passed out of people's awareness. The young people coming up, as like
Yeah.
Rob Tompkins and a bunch of people. But Lou Levy was outstanding and well known and well respected.
I was lucky to have found him. Actually, he found me, I guess. I had taken like a 13-year hiatus from singing because I was married and raising my daughter Jennifer
Hi,
and
Jen.
Lisa, and there's Jennifer behind me, and my daughter Lisa. And so I was like a housewife, and I was married to Bob Hardaway, a wonderful musician. Uh, and what am I saying?
Talking about Lou Levy.
Oh yeah, Lou Levy. So I was working. I've got a gig at Dante's, which you're very familiar with, Cathy. I know because you were on the scene, and I
Waitress.
think you were a waitress, waitress number one, and and so I was working with Bob F. I call him, and it was great. We had a great relationship, and he was a terrific accompanist, just the best. And one time I was in Carmelo's, as we called it, Carmelo's, and I saw Lou Levy there, and he said, "Hey," he said, "if Bob Florence can't make it sometime, give me a call." I thought, "Oh, all right." So Bob Florence couldn't make the next gig. And as Bob put it, she called Lou Levy and I never heard from her again. Which, was funny, but it kind of was true. Although I did work with Bob, and years later, we did a wonderful Johnny Mandel tribute, actually, at the Gardenia, and after Lou had passed away. And so we were all one big happy family.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, I mean, and Lou Levy, he was just a little bit about him. He had a huge, long career, and he
Oh, Lord, yes.
played with,
He started out with Tiny Khan, I think, and was crazy about Tiny Khan, as were other people like, I think, Terry Gibbs, knew him well. And um, Lou was just, he was a kid in Chicago, and his first gigs included kind of like accompanying Sarah Vaughan, for example, who would call on the kid to come play for her. And he made a big success of himself. He was very big with Peggy Lee, of course, and as an accompanist. Not only was he a fine bebop jazz player, he was a fantastic vocal accompanist, just the best.
yeah.
Just the best. We had so much fun preparing for our gigs, or just preparing for anything, just doing music. And I'm lucky to have tapes of Lou at some of our rehearsals where we're sort of quarreling and saying things. I'm saying things like, "Well, don't ask me to sing like Peggy Lee." That really made me laugh. When I don't remember it, but I found it after his death, and I thought, I'm so glad I have these. They're very useful and funny and sincere. Yeah,
That's funny. That's very funny.
yeah, yeah,
That's kind of a youth kind of a thing, a youth thing, a
yeah,
pink.
yeah.
And then, of course, Bob Florence. Working with Bob Florence must have been actually heaven, because
It was great.
was, for those of you who don't know about Bob Florence, he was a wildly respected arranger and composer,
Mhm.
and
With a
yeah,
big band.
yeah, with his own group. And I mean, yeah, I remember thinking at one point I was like, oh, I don't want to hear another big band, and then it was like Bob Florence was like, oh my
I'm
God,
kind of different. I really have respect for that band and love it,
yeah,
just as I do Willis, Bill Holman's band
yeah,
is
yeah,
still going strong.
yeah, yeah, beautiful. Those guys.
Mhm.
You want to hear some really beautiful big band, those
Yeah.
are nice to listen to. Yeah. And you worked with Bill Holman too, right?
No, no. No, I only listen to Bill Holman. I don't think he's accompanied very many vocalists, if any.
Yeah.
He's, but he's also in my top three as far as bands go.
I think the last pianist you worked with was Christian, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Christian Jacob. What a thrill. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. Um, I got this gig, and I was flummoxed. Who am I going to call? And I initially called a few people, and Karen Hammock answered my call, and then she had to pass because of her husband Chris Connor, who passed away. And so I, out of the blue, called Christian Jacob, and I was so surprised and thrilled to have him say yes. I couldn't believe it. But how great to listen to him and to work with him. Just 100% wonderful.
Yeah. Should we listen to that cut?
Oh, do you have it?
I believe I do.
No, I don't think she sent it.
Yeah, I think she did. Oh, let's see. She didn't?
I
Oh,
don't think so, but that's okay. Yeah, you can find it on somewhere. Call me up. I'll play it for whoever wants it.
I'm gonna just take a quick look. I could have sworn she sent it to me. I'll look. I'll look during something else. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna play at least one song from the Tokyo concert.
Oh, that's just a little gig at a very small club. I think it's Cafe Albert, which is run by my very dear friend Ruriko Shiokawa. And you know her, I believe. You've been to Cafe Albert.
Yeah, I was there. I was
Isn't
with
it the greatest place?
our friend, the man.
Oh, queso?
Yeah, Keizo. I called him. I was
Hmm.
in Tokyo. He met me at uh,
A
what's
record store.
yeah, the big record store.
Yeah. Hmm.
Whatever that big record store is, and then he took me there, and the club is named Albert's, right?
Cafe Albert
Hey,
for
Albert,
Frank's middle name.
right, named after Frank Sinatra. You go in and everything is Frank
Oh
Sinatra.
yeah, yeah.
My
And
son is a great singer and a great hang, and then all these people started coming in. We were sitting there drinking and having something to
yeah,
eat. I don't know if I told you this or not, but I ended up playing piano,
yeah,
singing, and also playing piano for other people getting up and
right. We're brave. We'll do that in a pinch. Not very good, but
no,
I can play anything in C, F, or E.
you're actually better than I am.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think you are better than I am. So
Oh gosh.
here's Pinky at Cafe Albert.
I was a stranger in the city, out of town were the people I knew. I had that feeling of self-pity, what to do, what to do, what to do. The outlook was decidedly blue, but as I walked through the foggy streets alone, it turned out to be the luckiest day I know. A foggy day in London town had me low, had me down. I viewed the morning with much alarm. The British Museum had lost its charm. How long, I wonder, could this dream last? Though the age of miracles hadn't passed, and suddenly I saw you standing right there. And through foggy London town, the sun was shining, shining everywhere.
Oh man, you're so smooth. You, man. You know, one thing that you guys, I love Pinky because she's a jazz broad. I always say that about you.
Okay, I accept.
You're a jazz broad, man, which
Yeah,
is fun, great, because makes me feel like, like the tribe, like Sheila and Jay when they were on. Yeah,
right.
I really felt like I was part of the tribe, it was great.
That's right. We're together and we'll never go away.
Yeah. Oh, we have a few people checking in with us. So I just wanted to let you know. Uh, Claire Martin,
Oh my gosh. Hi, Claire.
she
Oh
said,
my gosh, I'm thrilled.
and Wilder Jacob.
Oh
She's
my
living
gosh. Wilder Jacob.
Wilder Jacob,
And
wife of Christian, and she's a wonderful person. She's also the daughter of
Maynard. Maynard Ferguson.
Maynard Ferguson, which is a whole history in itself.
And
Um,
and I have a picture that I promised her, and I will send it, Wilder.
Barbara Ann Davison, could Pinky please say something about her work with Richard Rodney Bennett?
Oh, oh, well, yes, I can. I I had a wonderful relationship with Richard. he came to hear me when I was singing at a little club in Hollywood called something. Anyway, I was working with Bob Florence, and this gentleman came up to me and said, "Hi, I'm Richard Rodney Bennett, and I stole your record of called Pinky from Chris Connor." And I said, "Oh, does she know?" And he said, "No." So I went and sat with him, and got to know him. And he was a really sweet person. He was in Hollywood for some studio work. And so we chatted and, kind of became close acquaintances. And then he was in my life for the remainder of his life, which was a long time. I mean, he died about 4 years ago, I think. And during that time, I worked with him. I recorded with him. I stayed with him at his apartment on the Upper West Side in New York. And we did some wonderful stuff in various clubs there. So, and we did our record called Rain Sometimes, which is a lovely record.
Yeah. How many recordings have you had? You know?
Me? I don't know. I have to go count. I don't know, 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
About that, Mitch. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I've had them through the years. My first record was called Pinky, and it was way back in the 50s. And it was a different me. I'm more out there, I'm really out there. I was a big fan of Sarah Vaughan, and I tried to copy her at every point, which is a big mistake. You don't copy people, especially Sarah. Anyway, so I did. That was my first one. Then I did a record called I think it was Lonely One with Gerald Wiggins, and you have that, I think. Lonely One.
Yeah, that's on YouTube. Yeah, that's on YouTube.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
we can from that.
Pardon?
We can play a cut from that too.
That'd be great. Yeah. And let's see, what else did I do? A bunch of stuff for Mr. Sangu in Japan. I didn't know I should have prepared for this. I'm not up on it, but I'll think about it while you're playing something.
Problem. There's a quote that I actually wrote at the front of this by the guy from Jazz Wax, Mark Myers,
Oh
and I
yeah.
really liked it. It said, "First, let me say there are no bad Pinky Winters albums,
Oh,
even though they span more than 50 years. This
huh.
fact alone is extraordinary since many singers' early albums are their best works, with later efforts growing progressively lighter as the voice ages and work slows. Not so Winters. Second, great jazz musicians, Zoot Sims, Lou Levy, Gerald Wiggins among them, were smitten by Winters' phrasing and tone, which is reedy, jazzy, and inventive." Beautiful quote.
Gotcha. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, we had we had some other quotes too. Um, just as while we're on quotes, from Rex Reed, Pinky Winters is a West Coast jazz icon whose dusky voice, exquisite taste, elegant phrasing, and slavish slavish, I guess, dedication to songs that are off the beaten track make her worthy of more ardent investigation. A singer's singer whose reputation is more than justified.
Wow. Um, that was such a sweet comment from him. He did a nice little review of me after I think I worked some gig in New York, but I saw him recently before all the shutdowns. He was at Vitello's,
Oh yeah.
and I went to hear Rex there, and he gave a concert and sang. He's no slouch when it comes to presenting tunes. So he gave a lovely concert of little known tunes, of which one of I reminded him afterwards that I had recorded. Anyway, it was wonderful to hear Rex, and I've seen him in New York, but he's just a wonderful fan of singers, and is 100% behind the jazz idiom.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you I know the story, but I think it's really interesting on of how you came up, how you started singing and yeah, I mean, let's just talk about how you started into singing jazz live with people.
Oh. Um, I started piano lessons when I was about 4.5 years old, classical piano. Had the same teacher for until I was like 16 or something. And at one point, Mary Jane Sterling was her name, wonderful person in Indiana. And at one point I said, "Hey, I'd like to sing a tune." And so Mary Jane said, "Okay." So she had a piece of sheet music. It was San Antonio Rose, which is, unlikely for jazz type singers, which I didn't know I was going to be. So I sang along with her playing for me, and I thought, well, this is nice. So at that point, I started getting asked to play piano at gigs. Oh, those poor people. They had to put up with me, but I did okay for who I was. And then at one point, I decided, well, maybe I'd like to sing. So I did start to sing gigs. And one of the gigs I had that was probably the highlight of my life in Indiana, I was hired to do 1 month of nights at the local wonderful hotel, Spalding Hotel. And I played piano and sang. I sounded a lot like Sarah Vaughan then, but poor Sarah. Anyway, so I did that. And then I thought, well, there must be more to life. And so I decided to move away. And I moved to Denver, Colorado, only because my girlfriend and I knew one couple there who would put us up when we arrived. So we moved to Denver. And on the first night, we went out to the state capitol, and we ran into some boys. And they said, "You want to go hear some music?" And we said, "Yeah, why not?" So we followed them to a club. And the first person I met there was Dick Grove, who was a
Wow.
coincidence. I'm telling you, my
Yeah.
my life changed completely when I met Dick. Um, he was a mover and shaker in Denver, and his wife Alice was very supportive of him and me, and so we started working all over the place. And that's how my sort of career started, and it was because of Dick. And we did some wonderful stuff. And I decided I would take piano lessons from him. So I went to his studio this first time with my fake book, and and we ended up not doing any piano lessons. We learned all the tunes in the fake book, which was helpful to him too, because he loved music as much as I did, if not more, and is very revered by all the students that he collected over the years. So that was my beginning. And then I moved to LA, and the rest is history.
They say history.
Yeah.
You recorded with Zoot Sims.
Oh, my dear. I'll tell you about that.
Yeah.
I lived in Manhattan Beach, and friends of mine lived across the street. And my girlfriend, Kim, was married to Tootie Hale, a trumpet player. So he said, let's go over to Zoot's. He was Zoot's cousin. So we
Oh,
went over to Zoot's house. And I remember sitting down in the kitchen with Zoot. And I said, could I have some of that? He was eating bread and gravy. I was very hungry. Anyway, we ended up doing uh, we had a jam session. That's exactly what it was. And it was with all these, like kids, friends of Tootie, Zoot's cousin. And and they they put it on a record, which is astonishing to me, because I think I even played piano on it, and that's a real treat.
oh my God.
Yeah, it was really weird. So yeah, so that's my that and Zoot played on all the stuff, you know, there I am singing away and here comes Zoot. So somebody put it out on a record, which is
Wow. And
astonishing.
then my friend Dan, well, you know Dan Davila, you met Dan.
Yeah, yeah,
He sent a little discography of you. Then there's a song. What is it? This is "Rain Sometimes" by Pinky Winters.
that's my CD with Richard Rodney Bennett.
Oh, should we listen to that?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know what's on it, but
Well, I
okay.
think it's actually that song because it looks like it's only 3 minutes. So let's see.
Oh my gosh. Uh-huh.
Uh,
That's not it. Oh, that's it.
this is just like a picture somebody put up who posted the song.
Uh-huh.
Rain sometimes.
Oh, beautiful.
Money down the drain sometimes. Reason to complain sometimes. That's how it'll be. But there'll be champagne sometimes. Lobster flown from Maine sometimes. We'll ride the gravy train sometimes. Just you wait and see. We may be stranded in the rain sometimes. Lose more than we gain sometimes. Dream our dreams in vain sometimes. But this I guarantee: love is not for sometimes. Love is for all times. For all times. For you and me.
Yeah. Wow, that was beautiful.
Nice.
Love is not for sometimes. Love is for all times. For all times. For you and me.
Mm. Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, Richard was quite the master. And that Bob Mays played bass on it.
Bob.
On not the whole thing, but quite a few of the tunes. So we had a lovely time, Richard and I, over the years. But that was on one of that was our first and only recording. But we worked a whole bunch besides recording that.
Yeah. Pinky, I'm not sure exactly what I want to ask you. I know kind of the area, but I want to know, you've really been involved with so much quality music and people, and also your spirit is so lighthearted and like I said, you're a jazz broad. That's what I always relate. I always call you my jazz broad friend, Pinky Winters.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you if you have kind of an overview of what this may be too heavy a question. Just
Okay.
basically of what life is. Like uh, do you feel like some people feel like jazz is a religion to you, or you can't live without music, or do you feel like we're here to do what we love and whatever? I mean, are there
Do I
some
have a philosophy, you mean?
yeah.
No, I just think I live the philosophy. I like to hear, I like the music that I like, I like the new people.
Mhm.
I like the me people and I like the old people. uh, uh, I think there'll always be jazz in our lives, but it will change as it has through the years. You must understand that, right?
Definitely, definitely. It always cracks me up when people say, "Oh, yeah, jazz is dead or
Yeah,
dying."
yeah.
Sorry, no, you don't even know what jazz is if you think jazz is dead.
We
Jazz,
can't help it. We have to keep going.
yeah, it's always evolving.
Mhm. Yeah, that's why it was such a thrill to, I worked with another fine player, Tom Garvin,
Yeah.
and what a sweetheart and what a wonderful, supportive player he was. Just the best.
Yeah.
And it was so sad to lose him.
Yeah.
And another fine player that I worked with is Jim Cox, who
Yeah.
lives in Long Beach, and he's ambidextrous. He works with Lyle Lovett, which is a big deal, and then he works with me and with Kurt Reichenbach. That's how I met him.
Yeah.
Kurt's a fine singer,
Yeah.
and it's a thrill to work with, to find new people like that, and then of course to be able to work with Christian Jacob. Um, Well, I'd like to have another chance. I mean, it was a real first in my life and a wonderful experience, but I got to do it once more, just once more.
Absolutely. I took Pinky over to the G spot, Alan Goldman's
Oh yeah,
spot, and it was packed that night. And they were doing their rehearsal band, which is like I think it's 8 pieces and or 8 or 9 pieces.
yeah.
And we got her up to sing, and the crowd went crazy. She immediately garnered fans.
Oh,
They came over immediately after
I was wearing
over.
my house slippers. I was
Oh,
wearing I was wearing my kitty cat house slippers.
I
I had
remember.
just bought them for myself, and you called at the last minute, and off we went, and I had to wear them, and I had to sing My Foolish Heart because, the house slippers wanted me to go up there and do that.
Right.
It was great because I found out that the piano player in the band um, is was
Sergio, right? Or
yeah was now I can't remember his name, but he's Helga's son from the uh, piano store on Melrose and something.
yeah, David,
I'm
that
sorry.
David. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, and there was the trumpet player. What's that man's name? So sweet a
Um,
guy, Dr.
oh, Bobby
Bobby
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez was so eh, supportive and complimentary when I spoke with him afterwards. I thought, I'll just do this thing in my house slippers, and he just made me feel like I was a real singer again. So that was great. I love that
Oh,
place. I love going
Chris.
to that place, the G Spot.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to
Uh,
go sing. I'd like to go sing there.
when we get back to normal,
Oh,
I've told you I'll create a show for you there.
oh, that would be great. We'll have
Yeah.
fun. We'll have a lot of fun.
We had done an earlier one, a show which Pinky was involved in. It was called The Great American Songbook, and we had like 13 or 14 singers. It was over a weekend. We did the show one night, but the day before we did like filmed interviews. It was great, fantastic. And Pinky and I were watching it the other day.
Oh yeah.
Um, and she did, which we can't remember. Your daughter probably remembers this.
Was it I bet it was Beautiful Friendship. I know it was. Slowly
Well,
by Slowly.
yeah, you might be right, actually.
Don Kahn. Don
Yeah,
Kahn and Mr. Stein. Not that was Stanley Stein. Yeah. They
yeah,
they wrote that. I bet that was it.
yeah, that might have been it. And I sat there weeping. Actually, her daughter and I were weeping.
It's just a heartfelt well, it's actually done as an uptune mostly. This
Yeah,
is the end of a beautiful friendship, but I sang it as a ballad, and you know, it's a good one.
yeah,
It's a keeper.
it's a keeper.
Hmm.
Do you want to let Christian in, or should we keep talking by ourselves?
Oh, let's talk for 5 more minutes,
Okay.
and then we'll let him in. Okay, so what do you want to talk about? Oh,
Uh,
why don't you play a song from that album with Gerald Wiggins?
okay. Let's
What did
see.
we talk about before?
Yeah,
Uh,
let's see.
we,
It's the album. It's not the polka dots and moonbeams, is it?
yeah,
Is it? It is.
that's on there. But there was another song. Okay.
A country dance was being held in a garden. I felt a bump and heard an "oh, beg your pardon." Suddenly I saw polka dots and moonbeams all around a pug-nosed dream. The music started, and was I the perplexed one? I held my breath and said, "May I have the next one?" In my frightened arms, polka dots and moonbeams sparkled on a pug-nosed dream. There were questions in the eyes of other dancers as we floated over the floor. There were questions, but my heart knew all the answers, and I guess a few things more. Now in a cottage filled with lilacs and laughter, I know the meaning of the words ever after, and I'll always see polka dots and moonbeams when I kiss the pug-nosed dream.
Beautiful. I'm gonna stop so we can talk a little bit. And it's Gerald
Hmm.
Wiggins. Let's see, Gerald Wiggins, Howard Roberts on guitar, Jim Wolfe on bass, and Chico Hamilton on drums. Interesting.
Couldn't get
That
anybody.
was beautiful. No,
Yeah,
that was
Gerald
you were,
was so great to work with. He was wonderful.
and you were quite young there.
Well,
I
yes,
could
I
hear.
was.
Yeah. I mean, you still have you in there, but as you were saying, you sang differently.
Yeah. Well, that was my formative years, and I can't erase them. So there they are.
But it was beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, we all look at ourselves at
Yeah,
one time or another and go, "Oh."
I wondered what I was thinking, but I had a really nice time recording with those people. I got to pick my band, and um, it was just a thrill to.
Was
I had been to some jam sessions. That's how I met Gerald and Chico as well. So I was lucky enough to get to work with them again and record with them. So
I knew Gerald pretty, relatively well. He
yeah,
was,
yeah.
but was Chico Hamilton a choice of a lot of singers?
I don't know. I used to go over to a club where they had jam sessions, and that's where I met them. I guess I sat in or something. I don't really remember how it went down, but when the record company people said, I chose Gerald, and it was really a wonderful choice. He's a terrific accompanist and a terrific player. So we all worked fine together. It was great.
He was so cool, so musical and so cool, just a sweetheart.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I have to call Lynn and say hi. I keep
yeah,
wanting
right.
to.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen her. I haven't seen her since we had a party up on the hill. Roger Crane and
Yeah.
Lynn um, gave the
Uh-huh.
party, and Karen Hammock
Yeah.
was the player, and Chris Connor, and oh, that good drummer that I love so much. I can't think of him right now. Anyway, everybody got to sit in, and oh,
Uh-huh.
it was so fun because I did my pieces, whatever, and I went and sat down, and and then this woman came up to sing, and she said, and now I'd like to uh, to request that Pinky Winters come up and sing with me, and I didn't know this lady. So I went up there, stunned. I thought, what's going on? So whatever it was a Gershwin tune or something. It was Calabria Foti. That's how I met Calabria. And so we
Oh,
did, we did a number together, and it was her idea, and she's fun filled, she's really brave and wonderful and a terrific singer. So that was my first meeting with her, and to sing with her was fun, really great. Thanks,
yeah. We
Kelly.
were talking about her yesterday. Tim Weston and I, were talking about
Yeah.
projects, beautiful projects, and Calabria's and Bob's last project was
Oh,
exquisite. Oh my God.
wonderful. Yeah. Oh, she's stunning. I admire her so much. We went to see her, remember? I
Yeah.
made you I made you and Dan, go with me. And that was a thrill. And we sat under her nose, right under her at the stage. And she told us later that it unnerved her. She couldn't look at it. It was a great time. And Christian was playing, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
That night,
okay.
remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that was
let's invite Chris in.
we
It's
can.
12:55. Believe it or not, we've talked almost for an hour.
Well,
I mean,
we're
you and I talked for a long time.
we're talkers. We're good
Okay,
talkers.
we're admitting we are good talkers. We're admitting Christian in.
Ah,
Christian Jacob. Hello.
Christian, yoo-hoo.
I think he's let's see, it says up connecting to
He's
he
connecting
was
to his
surprised.
audio.
Hi.
Hello.
It's Christian with a mustache.
Hi, a mustache. Hey, Pinky.
Very,
Uh,
very attractive.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to
Thank
see
you.
you.
yes. Very cute.
That was great. Great. I listened to that first hour, and that was so nice. And
Bring it
I want to play with you again, Pinky.
up. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
we
a
had such
deal.
a great time.
Big pal.
Okay.
Only if Wilder can come.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Woohoo! Great. Well, we sure had a good time working together at our gig, and
Yeah.
so thrilled that I could get acquainted with Christian and his terrific style.
Oh, well, thanks.
But
Well, same with me. Although, I knew you for a long time. We actually had the same organizer in Japan.
oh, Mr. Sangu,
Yeah.
my gosh, that's true. I forgot that. I
Yeah, yeah.
forgot. Yeah.
We did our little separate tours in
That's
Japan.
right. Yeah. I know you were very well received there, as was the people that I met in Japan are forever friends.
Yeah.
They're
Same. Yeah,
so
yeah.
loyal, and I hear from Keizo, Keizo
Oh,
Takata,
yeah, yeah.
and I hear from Ruriko, and it's just one big uh, Japanese American family
Yeah, yeah.
in jazz.
Very
Lovely.
sweet people. Great.
Yeah, you recorded something there, didn't you, Christian?
Yeah, I did one of the tour. I did. I recorded a live in Japan CD.
Yeah, it had some Japanese names to them, names of the seasons or something like that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I
Great.
mean,
Yeah, I
because
had.
Mr. Sangu sent me your record.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have yours.
Well, I'll maybe I'll have another one someday. You never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. We never know, right?
Yeah, that's right.
CD or something else.
Something, yeah. So happy that we're together here. Kathy brought us together, and
Yeah. Thank you,
uh,
Cathy.
yeah, thank you,
Was a
Kathy.
great idea.
We'll send you a box of jam or something.
Lord knows I need to eat a little more right now.
Yeah.
What do you need?
I said right now I need to eat a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've stockpiled, and I also have lots of toilet paper. I don't know where I got it. Oh, don't tell anyone.
Shh, nobody say anything.
Right. So it's really hard being locked up like this, but
Mhm.
it's so great to have this opportunity to have people, hear music through venues like Kathy's providing, and I sure look forward to hearing some of Christian.
Yeah, it looks like maybe even Christian will play a little.
Oh.
Oh,
How's the sound would be? Yeah, I can play.
Christian, have you kind of used Zoom before? So you've checked out the sound, sound.
Well, I did originally, and I didn't like the sound. And what I use now is StreamYard, and through my thing. So I don't know. It might work. Uh, I don't know. Let me see. Well, tell me how it sounds.
Okay, yeah, Pinky, maybe you can sing with him.
oh no.
The delay. The delay won't.
I know. I'm kidding.
No.
Actually,
Oh,
How does that sound?
sounds fine.
Sounds fine.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
Come on, astonish us.
I was checking. Well, I don't know what
if
should
you
I
do
play.
rubato,
Oh,
if you do rubato together, you guys, you can actually do something if you do rubato.
Oh no, I'm too scared. Let him play.
All right. Okay.
yeah.
What?
Let me see. I want. Well, I think something like that.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Loved it.
It's great how the touch comes through, right?
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's yes. So I don't know how, but that's great. That if the touch goes through, that's that's half of it.
Well, you got it.
Thank you.
Very nice.
So this I can just have Christian take over, or Pinky, you can stay on and Christian and I can keep talking, or you can leave, whatever you'd like to do. It's fine.
Well, I'd like to be present for a little while so I could hear what you guys are gonna do or say. I love being with
Okay.
you. I'm lone. I'm self-isolating, so this is
Yeah.
a real treat.
Yeah, yeah, it is for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, you too, huh? You and Wilder.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about you.
Oh yeah.
But stay
Anyone?
hidden.
Come in.
Stay under the piano.
All
Oh,
right, we share. Here she
You
is.
share.
hello.
It's been a long time since I saw you. I think I saw you in the market.
Yeah.
God, that was a few years ago, actually. Oh my God. And yeah, I mean, you live in the same area and then you barely see people.
Oh, yeah, right.
And now we all have masks on anyway, so we can walk right past each other.
That's
I
true.
have mine right here. It's a kitty.
Oh,
No.
Very cute.
cool.
My Sinatra mask hasn't arrived yet. I ordered a
I know.
Sinatra mask. Ruriko in Tokyo has a Sinatra mask, and I found out about it, and I found out where to get it. She told me, and she said it took forever to come, so I haven't received mine yet.
I
But
know. When
I'll
the
be
boss
sporting.
say-
If I ever go out, I'll wear it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they take a long time.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm fine at home, but this is fun having a conference with you
Yeah.
friends. That's great. Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Oh, I'm gonna ask Christian some questions. Christian.
Okay.
Da, 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 da. So, because I don't really know how you grew up and how you came to jazz specifically. I have a feeling you came through, like through classical first, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
Where are you from exactly?
Well, I'm from east of France in Lorraine.
Yeah.
The city is called Metz, Metz. And yes, I was, well, since 4 years old, I showed some piano things. So I got some lessons very early. I developed a perfect pitch at that time. So I was really into. I had great teacher who was really with me the whole time, and I did basically a classical learning the piano mainly, and technique. And then about like 8 or 9 years old, I heard Dave Brubeck. And I was like, "Ooh, what is this? I like that." So I investigated a little more, and of course, from there, I started to play these things and transcribing. So, or since I had a really good ear, right away I transcribed to myself to play whatever I liked, which at that time was Dave Brubeck. I was like, it was a
Wow.
perfect in between, I guess. And then I went to the store. The store guy tells me, "Oh well, if you like jazz, check out Oscar Peterson."
Oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah. So wow, what is this? I couldn't believe that it was improvised at that time. So I actually ordered the part. I was like, I want to buy the part. you know, of course, so the guy at the store ordered it. He didn't know better. And then he, of course, never came. So so I ended up transcribing basically what I,
Oh my God.
what I wanted. And so and then, you know, etc. Bill Evans, Keith Jarrett, all those pianists, all becoming idols, you know, and but all the time keeping my classical. So it was really two different things for me. I was doing classical. When I kind of graduated, finished the conservatory in my hometown, and then went to Paris Conservatory, which was like the main, I would say, like it's really for classical career. So when I did finish Paris, that was the time for international competition in classical. And at that time, so I was about 20 years old, and then I was like, well, you know, during all this time, I had learned about improvisation, about jazz, about improvisation, and improvisation was so dear to me that I couldn't really go into a career, even though I love classical. But I say I gotta improvise. It's very important to me. So I went to Berkeley College in Boston at that point. So that's when I came in 1983. I arrived in Boston, and mainly I was self-taught. You know, like I already arranged stuff, played standards, improvised, composed a little, but I never really had a teacher at that point.
Wow.
So when I arrived at Boston, I was like positively surprised that I used to always say I was better than I thought. So I kind of ended up in the good corners of the school, you know, good ensembles and things. And Gary Burton at the time was dean of curriculum, and so I kind of played in his band. Actually, I was the sub for Makoto Ozone, because Makoto Ozone was the pianist at that time, who was like it was with Gary, and so I was playing with Gary when Makoto was back in Japan or something. So basically, that's really how it started.
Yeah.
And
so did you come? When did you come to LA? And had you guys met?
so yeah, actually, we met right away while there was a student there.
Uh-huh.
So in '83, yeah, and she was my girlfriend right away.
Wow, I didn't actually realize that you went to Berkeley.
Yeah.
It's a well-hidden secret.
Huh? What did you play? Were you because you know I went in 72 to 75, and the year I left, that's when they started vocals. So I don't know. Were you a vocalist or were you a player or?
I was supposed to be a piano and a voice student.
Okay.
And they thought I was going to be must be wonderful, right? And I got an audition. And I was already in the school, but I was, you know, they were going to place who my teacher was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was, you know, asked to play at the piano while this very nice man listened. And he said, play me anything from your repertoire. And I kind of was really appalled by the situation. And said I can play little C. And I did. And then he realized, okay, it's good she's a voice and a piano student.
Okay.
So, yeah, so, But I did good. I passed all my classes and did arranging and harmony and ear training and
Got a boyfriend?
got a boyfriend.
Go-
Check.
We played ping pong together. That's how we
Oh.
met.
That always gets him.
Yeah.
Can you guys turn up your sound a little?
Oh, okay.
You seem a little bit far away.
Okay, let me see. That would be
Maybe just on the computer.
where is the
Yeah. Possibly just on the computer.
what?
Sorry, didn't mean to throw a wrench in the conversation.
No.
We have to know how to do it.
Does it do anything? No, I can't move this from the computer. I need to find the.
It might just be moving closer to the computer.
Okay, yeah.
Where are the? I cannot access the. Oh, here we go. In there, preferences. I think my mic can be. Here we go. All right, how's that?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a little better.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I said it in quick passing, but Wilder is the daughter of Maynard Ferguson. So you can imagine when she went to Berkeley, they must have been really excited and waiting for her to come out with this great playing. So that's why her
It's
discomfort.
true. It could have been there. It could have, right?
Yeah.
Sure. So you guys, did you work for Maynard, Christian?
Well, yes, I did actually. I was on his band later on. Once we were married, we got basically as soon as I moved to California, to LA, which was in '89, and end of '89. We got married in '89, and so '90. I was on the band 1991, 92, 93, and we never saw each other at that point.
Yeah.
Because being
It was 9 months out of the
Oh my
year
God.
at that point.
We were
9 months.
on the road like so much, and so being newlywed, that was interesting.
Cute.
But then you got off the road from Maynard. Did you basically stay around and go
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, so then 94, 95, then I was basically in LA doing some
Mhm.
arranging for some friends in Europe. So I was home and then going to the Union and doing rehearsals with a lot of big bands. I always loved big band, and um,
Bill, Carl.
Carl?
the very first rehearsal. Jack Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Sheldon was kind of, I guess, the first big band that I was in for good, and then after that Bill Holman, and so I actually have been with Bill now for about 20 years. Doing the rehearsals every Thursday at the Union, and
Oh man, that
yeah.
still happens.
And
That still happens.
well, it stopped because of
Yeah.
COVID-19, but
But it
it
was still-
was until it was and
Was there new
Great
Was
band.
going on?
What?
Was there new writing going on too?
Oh yeah, he still writes. Once maybe every 2 months, he still brings a new chart or something.
Wow,
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
that's
And
cool.
and I mean the writing, that's like the best possible orchestration lesson, is playing in those bands, in this band. That's why I really always loved doing big band, being there at the piano, no need to solo. I mean, just being in the middle and see how everybody is writing, or that's fantastic. Yeah, I love it.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, so Wilder, did you continue singing?
I did, and I even did a tour in Europe.
Oh.
And I love to sing. My mother wanted me to sing. She absolutely believed that it was a very stable career. And for, and, she just sang Billie Holiday and Dinah Washington all day long, and she just thought Wilder can do that. It's such a good career,
I love it.
And I knew all the words. I knew the words to everything, and but I didn't like being on the stage. It was just, I couldn't handle it. It's just being watched and
Scary.
feeling it very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I loved singing. I loved the words to songs. Oh my God, everything in the real book. Those stories in every song it's divine, right?
Yeah.
And so I did a tour in Europe once. A friend of mine organized it in Switzerland, and we went to Italy, and there was a whole wall plastered with posters of me, and looking all dramatic, and it was hilarious because there nobody knew me, and I could just sing and not think how I sounded, and have fun with my friends. And I think I was there a month, and it was great. And then I never wanted to do it again. So that was it.
What, and wait, were you, I'm sorry, I lost the timeline. Were you together with Christian at that time or not?
No.
Okay.
The tour.
With
The tour with
Stefan?
Stefan, I think, yeah, we were, and I was on the road.
Oh, you were on the road with
Yeah.
Maynard. Yeah.
Yeah. So Christian, did you, just as, I'm just wondering, as a husband, as a piano player, did you think, yeah, she should continue singing, or did you say, yeah, she wants to do what she wants to do?
Well, it wasn't really my choice. What I remember is she was really adamant about stopping. When we came actually to, when we arrived to California, it was really a decision
Yeah.
you had made. And also what happened is she, at that point, she discovered another passion, and so who kind of made it turn, which was like working for in a studio, Eve studio,
Yeah,
and doing some what
Anime. This guy had a studio that overdubbed all these Japanese anime, which was, you remember, huge. Like 20 years ago, it came over here and took over everything. And so they needed it translated into English. And so they kept hiring writers, but the writers wanted to put their personality into these scripts. And I wasn't a trained writer, but I had been raised reading comic books. So for me, this was my language, right? This sort of childish and fun, and so I watched cartoons all day, and I rewrote the scripts, telling the same story, and then lip synced it so they'd have an example of it. So I fell in love with it. It was fun. I did it at home. And they taught me how to do it. So I moved on. I moved away from music, and it was good. I did that for 7 years, and that was fun.
There's a Peter, can't remember his last name, who had a lot to do with anime, and he's a bass player. He lives in LA. He lives in a really beautiful house in the hillside where he has concerts sometimes. Do you know him? Yeah, I was just curious because since that's where he made his money in anime. So yeah, because it wasn't in jazz bass playing.
True.
Speaking speaking of that, one thing that always made me laugh when Chris Connor and the bass player and Kat Connor were married, and they got a house, and
Oh, yeah.
I asked them, "How did you buy the house?" And they said, "Well, we just told them, what we did for a living." And I was trying to imagine that clown
A
and
clown.
player,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
clown and jazz bass player. Oh yeah, we'll give you the money.
Yeah.
It's like
Remember that house.
Not.
they had a nice house though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So, hey, Christian, can we go to YouTube and hear something?
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually being very busy on YouTube lately.
I've heard some stuff.
I wanted to be a little more present. I mean, since I'm here home, so doing little. So I don't actually. I just posted a little duo I did with myself. I don't know if you wanna.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
it's called Voilà Voilà,
Okay,
which is a
I've
French
heard
title.
that.
I see that. Okay, great. Voila, voila.
Here you go.
And I'm gonna expand.
So
Yeah.
it's an original, and I just made little duo.
Okay, here we go.
One play. All right.
Voila, voila. love that song too. I mean, wow, that was really beautiful. And just like hearing you play with yourself, it was great.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
always like
I
that.
was working on my system and thing like that, and suddenly I thought, you know what, I probably can do that because I forgot how it came, but I bought like an extra pair of headphones would be like Bluetooth. And I'm like, well, I can record like a metronome thing, put that in Bluetooth, do a part, and then go back, and then do a second part. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm having fun on.
You
Sounds
on
one
complicated.
or the other first, like in totality, or how did you do it?
yeah, on this one I just did the acoustic piano first, following a click,
Yeah,
and then I went back and then did the other one over Logic. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
played it and then did a second part. I did another one also earlier with the two acoustic piano actually, the two acoustic,
Yeah.
and then and that's it for the duo. The rest is all solo stuff or little things. But anyway, just
Oh, that's
filling my
awesome.
time.
That's
Thanks.
beautiful,
Pick
beautiful.
yourself up. Pick yourself up.
Yeah, yeah, that
That
was
I
the
like
other
that.
duo.
Oh, okay. We should listen to that too. But I'm curious. You want to mention your last record? That was that the that was a
Yeah,
little while, a year ago or so, right?
right. Actually, it was by the end of next year, so it is actually into the Grammy
Oh,
this year. So I definitely want to mention it.
wow.
Yeah, it's called The Originals, and
I have it.
it's yeah, Pinky has it, and it's all originals. It basically I wanted all my CDs are always have all the standards that we all love, and I always had some originals on the side, or that I really never that I always wanted to record. And then so I wrote a bunch of new ones, and then did this, the originals, and I even have like a string section on it on most of the tracks, kind of a background type of string section. It's not a symphonic CD at all. It's
With
really a
Calabria.
trio CD.
Calabria's playing.
Right. Calabria is concertmaster. Oh,
Yeah.
I-
I just
and
wanted to show the cover too.
and so the package, yeah, is also
See, it's a photo of Christian, Trey, and Ray. Aren't they handsome?
Great.
Very.
and that's the originals, which turned out to be, a trio of superhumans, or like kind of that kind of thing, which are all connected by music, which is, for superheroes, isn't it a great idea?
It is a great idea. I love the artwork. The artwork is
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's an action adventure story in it.
and so
It's
instead of
beautiful.
liner notes, you get the story, which connects all the tracks together, all the tunes, all the originals. So we tried, Wilder and I, had fun with this. We really did that package, and
Eli.
the artist is Eli Henry, which is Trey's son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
He did a great
he
job.
did a great job, and the booklet inside is filled with his art in there.
The last one is called Wilder Will Tell. Is that correct?
Wilder Will Find. Yeah,
Wilder Will Find. Yeah.
yeah, which that's
That's a
yeah,
fine,
one of the
fine
original.
word.
Huh?
It's the final chapter.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And it's the final in the story too.
Good.
I must have gotten this online somehow because I didn't see the booklet.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's the problem now. But on iTunes, there we did the iTunes booklet. So when you get it on iTunes, you actually can download the booklet, which is slightly different. Because I really like the physical booklet. But anyway, the iTunes provides
The whole point of the graphics was we didn't like the way everyone's music was being streamed and losing the context. So people didn't hear about why someone recorded something. So we created something that tied all the tracks together, hopefully making people get all the tracks. And we made this booklet beautiful. The downloadable PDF is on christianjacob.com. And so, it's got all the info in it and all the context that we all want all of our recordings to have. And
Yeah.
I think those downloadable PDFs, everybody should know, fans should know, not buy. It should be free so people understand the hearts and minds of the people who are putting all this creativity together instead of just it becoming elevator music that they have running in the background when they've got Spotify running. Because people are beautiful. All of you artists are beautiful. And why you choose the same, what are you doing the rest of your life? You all choose it for a different reason and express it in a different way. And people love liner notes, no matter what the companies tell you, no matter how Amazon and iTunes and iMusic, they need to strip it of that because it's easier for them. And they haven't figured out how to do it. But we all kind of know that if they wanted to put a link to liner notes to a PDF online, they could do it. It would be work though. So I say everybody, put a PDF up. I don't know.
That's why vinyls came back to,
Yeah.
you had like, finally you have content,
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I just finished producing or co-producing a singer, Mayita Dinos, and she had like a 13-page booklet of her artwork, her storyboard for each song.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you do see it, it's really impressive. It really adds to the whole quality of everything. And yeah, I agree with you. I think it's really important, and it seems like one of those things that is so easy.
Yeah, but we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Musicians have to do it themselves because there's no plus for any label to do it or manager or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Just another thing. Another football. What Tim Weston was on yesterday, and he described it so funny. He said, "Okay, so first you get this idea of a football, then you find the materials and you make a football, then you create a game, and then you get the players, and then you have to create the field, and then you invite the people, and then you do it all again."
Yeah.
That's what we do all the time.
yeah.
That was a really funny explanation of our lives.
And then we feel like a football.
Okay.
So we must, when you say the name Kristen Jacob, oftentimes as a singer we think of Tierney Sutton. So that has been a long relationship, musical relationship, and I'm sure a friend relationship, because you guys were actually what was it? Not a company,
Yeah, a corporation.
a corporation.
Yeah, we still are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's been how many years? It's been a long time.
Oh yeah. Well, basically, it's kind of where I just left off when coming out of Maynard's band. So 94, something like that, and Jack Sheldon Big Band. I was saying. Well, who was playing on the Sheldon Big Band was Trey Henry on bass, Ray Brinker on drums, which actually they were also playing with Maynard.
Oh,
They all played. Ray played with Maynard before me, and came back, played a year, another year when I was on, and then Trey played I think also maybe not quite a year, but anyway, we were Jack Sheldon, and then one day uh, that blonde singer comes in, uh, and say, oh, I forget. No, she didn't ask, but Jack obviously knew her. Say, hey, why don't you come and sit in? And it was actually a rehearsal, and
yeah.
so she came and sang a song, and I mean, and Trey, Ray, and myself. Well, actually, I think she knew Ray already a little, but I think Trey and I looked and said, "Who's that?" Oh my God. Anyway, I mean, that was my very first acquaintance with her. Hearing her and seeing obviously that she was, on top of a game. I mean, she was like on the big band. She heard everything. She knew, how to play through, whatever this chart was, and so, well, and a great voice. I mean, so anyway, that's how it started, and then we kind of started playing, rehearsing. I think she had a gig or something. Oh yeah. What happened is that was also she just arrived from the East Coast, so she didn't know anyone, and I think she was impressed by the rhythm section as much as we were impressed with her,
Yeah.
and she had a gig the next week for like a club. I forgot where it was, but then you say, well, you guys want to do. So I mean, we played that gig the next week, playing standard, and then right away, kind of, I remember uh, the the uh, the creativity right away really like started, like from her and from us, from Trey, saying, for example, Chinny say, okay, Ray, start this one, without knowing, and he starts something. We still don't know what we're gonna play, and then up it becomes, whatever she starts singing, and with her, and then Trey another time say, okay, I start by doing this. You guys do what you. So we had that creativity kind of right away,
Yeah.
and then after that we started thinking a little more seriously about uh, doing something like recording. She had some people interested at the time with Telarc. And first, originally, she did another one introducing Tierney Sutton, which was from a Nordic label from, I forget if it's Sweden, Norway, or over there. And so we started, doing some rehearsing, and then throwing stuff at her. And, say, well, why don't we cut there and do this, whatever, anyway. And so, and right away she was game for anything, So obviously there was a big bond that started at that point.
Yeah.
And then yeah, then it became kind of successful. I mean, we really went on the road. started playing a lot, and then as I said, Telarc was there for, well, I don't know, about 7 recordings or something like that. So it's been great. It's been 25 years now, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such an, I remember, you know, like hearing about that you guys were incorporated, and it was like,
Oh
wow,
yeah.
that's
So
a really interesting idea.
yeah, so what right away, the story comes from Telarc, who suddenly wanted, it was the Tierney Sutton band, and well, we originally it was actually the Christian Jacob Trio. Tierney was the Christian Jacob Trio, and that didn't work. We did like the Tierney Sutton band, but Telarc kind of after I think they kind of wanted to have Tierney Sutton. They didn't like the idea of the band, and so. But Tierney was really strict about it, and we actually did a CD called "I'm with the Band."
I remember
It
that.
was kind of in response to I want this to be a band, and so it was really and so in the spirit of really being a band, we all started sharing responsibility. And become a corporation. So that was the Tierney Sutton Band. He's a corporation, and
Yeah.
we
Very cool.
all work on it.
Yeah. I'd like to play another song. What would you suggest? Do you want me to show you YouTube?
Well, maybe no, I haven't.
Of yours? What?
Well, maybe. What do you have the from the originals?
Yeah, I have that up if you want.
Okay. Let's see.
All we have is Master Meal of the original.
Oh, on YouTube.
Oh,
No,
I have
on where you can play this anything from the CD?
well, I have Secret Life, Modern Times, The Shapeshifter, The Making of. I guess that's a PR
Oh,
thing.
those are the okay from the no. Well,
I'd say either the title track or Wilder Will Find. Or
do you have Wilder Will Find?
Wilder will find.
We were talking about Wilder
you
Will
like
Find.
you like that one,
Yeah,
Pinky? Okay.
Let me see if I can.
the last one.
And it says the originals. I don't know if it's the
Oh,
whole.
no, one tune is called the original. Why don't we do that? It's a little
Okay,
it's a little funky.
so I'm going to share the screen. Well, it's probably just the. Is it just the
Title track.
right?
No video. Only
Yeah.
on Shapeshifter.
Okay, here we go. Wow. Love that. Boy, that sounds so good. Sorry about that. That was really beautiful.
Cool. That was fun.
It's great. What time signature was that?
It was 7/4, yeah.
7 and 4.
Yeah. And the middle, the middle groove is to learn the 7/4. Boom.
We're trying.
Actually, uh, um, you know, when I learned really the seven, playing in seven really with Flora Purim and Ayrton Moreira, with Ayrton, like I did the tour with Flora for about
Flora
3 years. Yes, Flora Purim.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 years. I did a couple, 3 CDs with her too. Yeah.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
yeah, and playing with Ayrton and the band was such a great adventure.
Wow.
Gary Meek on tenor sax. Actually Trey Henry did a year or two also in there. And
John Carpenter was it?
Dave?
No.
No, he just did that. But anyway, that was a great experience. Yeah. And I even did some some percussion after a couple of years. It was fun.
After a couple of years, is that what you said?
Yeah. Well, once I get a little more comfortable,
It's another side to Christian.
Right.
Yeah. How interesting. Yeah.
But it was more for fun. More for fun. I'm absolutely not the guy to call for percussion.
Okay.
I'll remember that.
All right.
So what are you working on now? Are you working on anything?
Well, I do actually. I'm doing a little arrangement for Betty Buckley.
Oh.
I've been working with Betty for also over 10 years now.
Really?
Yeah.
I really.
You were at the Carlisle with her. You were at the Carlisle.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes, we were actually. There was our last gig when
And you had to fly home. Yeah.
I had to fly home, breaking that 2 weeks into one. Yeah. But I've been working with her for about
maybe 10 years.
12 years maybe.
Oh, I don't know where I was. I just didn't even know that. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Also did like 3-4 CDs with her.
She's fantastic. Just
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, she is fantastic.
Yeah.
So why I forgot why I brought it up.
Because you were working on it.
What am I working on right now? Yeah, we're trying to do a little project, probably for YouTube, and so like a little arranging on some children's song. I mean, I don't know yet exactly, but basically, I'm kind of thinking about that right now. And then I'm actually working also on doing a little series of. I'm copying you a little series of concert like home. It probably in a couple of weeks, but like the advantage of being a piano player, during these times, so I'm trying to turn that into a little not a show, not quite a show, but something where it's gonna be interesting, little different segments
Great.
and things like
Yeah.
that. So an hour long comes once a week or something like that. So hopefully
That
uh,
sounds like fun.
I get some people.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be great. So are you going to interview or listen? What are you?
No, playing, just playing. I'm gonna try to do some different kind of playing. I'm gonna also maybe play a video every time. Now, Wilder has like a library of. She's always been, recording everything over the years. So she's got like a very interesting library. There's a lot about me, but that'll be my show. So
Yeah. Well, it started out as the life of trio, uh,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
of trio. So I was really focused on Christian, Trey Henry, and Ray Brinker because I love them. I
Yeah.
repeat, because I love them.
Yeah.
They are awesome. The three of them are
Yeah.
awesome. And so I filmed them all the time. But in the middle of all that, I filmed, Flora Parim and Jack Jones.
Oh,
How
yeah.
wonderful is Jack Jones? I mean, oh my God. And Jack Sheldon
yeah, Betty.
and Betty and the TSB when they were babies and and it's nice. It's old, grainy, dark footage at steamers where you can just make them out, but the sound is reasonable and it captures a moment,
Yeah.
of like Helen Borges wearing reindeer antlers
I love it.
as she introduces who is the radio host?
Chuck Niles.
Chuck Niles
Yeah.
Oh my God.
down at Steamers one night, and tons of Bill Holman, just
Oh, yeah.
tons and tons and tons. I love Bill Holman.
too.
The greatest thing you can do is go to that rehearsal and sit there and be, just a couple of people watching while you've got the greatest big band, blowing and the sound is great. It's just, so we'll put a little clip of something
Mhm.
in each episode of his show, just as a time capsule.
That's going to be good. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
We're new to this. We're new to this. So that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah. Aren't we all? We're all new to
Yeah.
all of this. I mean, I think it's great. I've enjoyed several continuous shows like, well, Kurt Elling is on a little break because he's moving back to Chicago, but he's had the greatest show. I'm totally like into it.
I know.
Check this out. The last show, he had a situation like this with all his band on there, and it was really funny. I don't know if it comes across that funny, but it was funny. He said the whole show he was saying, "Okay, so here's the situation, and the choice is either be here in coronavirus land quarantine or there, and death is not a choice." And then he would he would talk about obvious road experiences that they had
Yeah.
that were like, whoa, out of another land, and then all the guys would laugh, and he kept saying, "Death is not a choice." It was pretty funny.
All right.
But anyway, that was really good, and he's been using these kind of, the situation right now of like I'll record and send it to you, and then you record over that.
Right.
He's made some really beautiful things, and also Janice Siegel and Lauren Kinnan. Pinky, have you seen that yet? The vocal
Oh, I
duo?
haven't.
It's really great. They've done, I don't know, they're on their way. They've been doing 4 or 5 of them. So Saturday nights they'll do like a show, and then Thursday afternoons they'll have a happy hour, and they invite people on, and
Yeah.
do some music, and it's really good, really good.
Are
Yeah.
you familiar with Mike Greensill?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I do watch. He's on 3 times a week now, Mike, on something, whatever it is I watch him on Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah,
Facebook.
I've
but
seen
it's
him. Yeah,
because he gives insights into all different kinds of composers and people that I'm not that familiar with, like Fats Domino and old timey blues people and the modern stuff, and he plays beautifully.
yeah. He's such a great player.
Good player, good accompanist. And I like to hear him sing his little ditties sometimes. So that's fun to watch too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that show a couple of times. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's great.
In
It's
fact,
like,
he's probably on today, I think.
is it like
Yeah.
2
Mhm.
o'clock or something, Pinky?
What was that?
2 or 3 o'clock or right?
3 o'clock.
Oh,
3
Mhm.
o'clock, yeah. Yep. You have time to eat an egg salad sandwich and then sit down.
Well, I need some eggs. So,
But do you dare go out and get them?
yeah, I'm running out on groceries. I'm making my list.
yeah, yeah. We,
Checking
we
supplies. So, Christian and what's your name?
Wilder.
Susan,
Wilder.
And Susan. Yeah.
Wilder.
Wilder. How are you getting along these days?
oh, we argue all the time, can't you tell?
Oh, I can tell. You look at him with real anger. I can tell that.
No, it's
Going in,
it's interesting. It's a very don't you find that there are moments that you realize you're together all the time. And Christian and I are usually together all the time. So
yeah.
there's actually been a couple of moments where I've realized this is actually more than we are together normally.
Wow.
But we're together so much that we just don't go out for sushi.
That's true.
I mean, I miss everybody. I miss going to concerts. I really, really miss going to concerts.
Yeah. I talked to Catalina this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Saturday she was on. And boy, I really felt her longing for jazz people, to be around jazz people and her love. Do you know that Catalina's is the second oldest running jazz club on the planet?
Whoa.
34 years.
How many?
34.
34.
34.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Wow.
wild. So, yeah. But so are you guys going out at all or just for staples and stuff?
Right.
Groceries every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had a garden, and I think that's what's really fortunate. I feel really bad for people that have nowhere to go because you need to step out. You just need to step out and feel the grass between your toes, type of.
I only have herbs that I grow, but I haven't planted anything else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd love to have a tomato plant. If you want to sneak over here and put one in my ground, you're welcome.
Pinky, do you have a backyard?
Me? Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Yes, I do. Oh, well, I could dig a hole, I guess. I just don't. My daughter, Lisa, takes care of all that planting stuff. But yeah, I could. I just grow herbs. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
I have a nice garden, and years ago we had 2 dogs, and so we didn't really do anything big. And one of the dogs ate like we had some blackberries, and he just would like eat the whole plant, really odd. So finally they passed, and then we fixed up the yard and the garden, and then kind of Gary, my husband, has a love-hate relationship with it because he likes it, but he hates feeling like he has to go out and weed.
Responsibility, yeah.
Me, I actually get out there every day and do a little weeding or because it just feels good. It feels good to be outside and breathe and see the beauty, you know, and hear the birds and
Well,
stuff, you know.
I've seen you run your show there once or twice,
Yeah,
right?
a few times when the weather
Mhm.
was nice. Yeah, it was so beautiful outside. You could hear the birds in the background.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, it was nice. Well, um, it's around 2 o'clock, and
Okay.
we can end off. Gee, guys, I want to thank all of you guys for taking the time and being on. And it's just so nice, isn't it, to have a nice visit with each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Great.
you. This was good. We
Thank
were
you,
Okay.
Kathy.
watching your other shows. They're all going great.
Yeah, and thank you for letting me stay on. I know I'm intruding, but I
No.
needed this
Oh,
to
it was
be
great to see you, Pinky.
great
We
to
hug
see
you.
you. Yes. And the next time you see me,
Oh yeah, we got
Meow,
to.
meow.
Kathy,
And,
you're the best.
no, thank you. And there's a bunch of nice comments on, and you can go on Facebook and check
Oh,
them out. Danny Flayhive is asking what time signatures are they in. I
Okay.
think that was, I guess, when we played. It was 7, right?
Yeah, 7, yeah.
Yeah. You know, that was one thing I also noticed about your voila voila. Not that you were in 7, but your rhythm sense is really, it's what I love. I'm not sure how to explain it in just, you know, regular terms, but it's kind of a flexibility of where one seems to be. You know, you have changed where your downbeat is. Let's say that,
I see.
and then it morphs into like kind of a normal downbeat area, and it's just, to me, it's a great feeling. And I heard that in the piece that we played last. It's in the sense of rhythm is fluid but yet solid, and it's
Ah, thank
very
you.
satisfying to me to hear that, you know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think lately I feel like my hearing has developed more, or maybe it's not developed. Maybe I'm taking more time or something. I don't know. But now I'm listening with, it seems like different ears. It's really
Uh-huh.
nice. I'm
Well,
really,
yeah, I never played so much piano of my piano,
yeah.
in the last 4 months. I mean, I'm here and either doing those projects or finding little ideas and things. I was on the road all the time, and so not really playing much. I mean, except during performances. So
yeah,
there's a different reaction to it. Yeah, I feel also different in some ways. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, thanks, you guys.
Well, thank you. It was fun, and
And you're so close, but yet so far.
yeah, we live so close.
It's really, you know,
We could throw an orange. We
We'll
could
meet
throw an
again in the
orange.
real world.
maybe we can get the Granada Hills people, you know, to, like, I don't know,
Oh,
come outside in the backyard and have a drink or two. We could do that.
we can distance each other.
Yeah.
I know how to do that.
Yeah, I think we're all.
I think we all do.
I know. Calabria and Bob and I literally live on the same
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
I mean, we could actually, do it. We just
Calabria
and
and who? Calabria.
Bob,
Oh,
her,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. You know her husband, right? Bob
yeah,
McChesney.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot, but yeah.
not biblically, but
Yeah. Yeah, Pinky. We know about you.
Knock it off. I'm just never mind.
All right.
Lovely to see you guys.
Yeah. Good hang. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fun. Thanks, Kathy. And
Thank you.
Do you think that on the way out, you guys can leave, but do you think that I should play some of Bob Florence's music on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
Since you
never a
both,
bad idea.
Yeah, never a bad idea.
Bob Florence.
Oh, Old Lang
Yeah.
Syne is a good one.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know if
a
I
good
can
one.
find it, but let's see. There's one here. I'll share, and then you can guys maybe can point me in the right direction. Oh God, Carmelo's by the freeway.
Oh, that's cute.
It is.
Yeah.
And
Here's
there's
Bob Lawrence with Pete Chrisley. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe we should do that on the way out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything.
Okay. All right. We'll do this
It's
on
good.
the way out. Huh?
Carmelo's is good.
Is it a good one? All right. Since Pinky says Carmelo's is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to stop this for a second while I say goodbye. You guys can stay or not stay. I'm just going to keep running this in the background. So
Okay.
thanks, Christian Jacobs, and
Jacob, no S.
oh God, Christian. I knew that. Wilder, Jacob, thank you. Pinky Winters, thank you. And have a great day. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm off tomorrow, but Thursday is Joey Sellers, the great trumpet player. And Sunday is Roy McCurdy.
Oh wow.
Hey.
So
Cool.
come on back and yeah. Bye, you guys. Love you.
Bye. Love you,
Bye bye.
Kathy.
Love you, Cathy.
Bye, Pinky.
Bye,
Kathy.
Wow. Incredible. Bob Florence, who Pinky and Christian talked about. Great. Thanks, Pinky Winters.
Thank you, darling. Bye-bye for now.
Bye. Thanks for hanging out. It was fun.
Okay, this was a great time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.